I think obviously we're in a stage where these calls are getting to the point that they can make differences in games, and I think that's obviously a massive part of any game. There's going to be calls that go for you, there's going to be calls that go against you, and ultimately you can't control it, is what it is at the end of the day. I think when you look at it over the season, you get some that go for you and you don't, and it didn't go for us today, and I actually haven't really seen it back yet, so I'm not in a space to comment about it, but ultimately the VAR checked it, and it is what it is.
Hi, Becki.
Hey.
Obviously, the first loss under your management as head coach. Does it feel any different to maybe have a loss as the head coach? And more importantly, how important is it and how great is it to have that first loss 12 games into your tenure?
Yeah, I think it's never easy to lose a game, especially at this point in the season where, you know, the table is so close. What's important for us is that we learn from it, we move on, and I don't think it's a game where we've been outplayed. I don't think it's a game where we can walk away from it saying that, you know, we were beaten by the other team. We beat ourselves. I think we weren't clinical in the box. We didn't finish our opportunities. We didn't test Morehouse enough in goal. And ultimately it's come down to one moment. But again, togetherness is now important. We move on from it. We move into the next game. This league is wild. Who knows what happens in the next two games? But we're just going to do what we can to be in control of what we can control.
What does it mean to you to have, it took 12 games to have a loss under you. What does that mean for you?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm going game by game. I think obviously the saying is you're only as good as your last game, right? So we've got to move on from it, and we've got to build into the next game and all focus ahead to Houston.
All right, next question. Go ahead.
Yeah. Two questions kind of regarding injuries. Didi was ruled out before the game, back injury. What happened there, and then what ultimately kept her out? And then MA, we saw her go down. Do you have any update what the injury is and how severe it may be?
Yeah, I think Deeds is a little day-to-day right now. Anything where you have a back injury is tough, and especially for a goalkeeper, they put their bodies through so much strain throughout the year, so we obviously have to manage that. And then I haven't checked in with MA yet, so I don't have an update, but I think she'll be just fine.
Becki, if you look at this, I mean, like you say, take a look at the stats. That's a game you guys probably should have won. You look at everything, but the final third, what didn't go your way? What did you want to see that really didn't go your way there tonight?
Yeah, I think ultimately soccer is a funny game, right? Like, is it like any sports? You can dominate a game and lose. You can dominate a game and win. You can not touch the ball and win a game. So it's a funny game, and I think how clinical you can be is ultimately what wins you the game. I think once we went 1-0 down, we created opportunities to get back in the game, but credit to Orlando, they had a game plan once they went 1-0 up, and they stuck to it, and they got numbers behind the ball, and we just struggled to break them down. So I think the players that came off the bench did a fantastic job. They impacted the game for the positive, but it's those clinical moments in and around the box, just putting your body on the line when it really matters. And I think we had opportunities. We just needed to take them.
Hey, Becki, just want to get your thoughts as you go into these last two games. You guys were in a little bit of a similar situation last year, maybe a little bit more difficult last year, and it didn't happen. What things do you have to do in order to be in the right mindset for these last two games, and especially going on the road?
Yeah, I think obviously this one hurts for the players, for everybody right now, but you can't dwell on it. You've got to move forward from it, and we've got to take the positives and move with them. We've got to take the areas of improvement, and we've got to push on with them. We've got to be together. We've got to remain in it as a group. And I think, again, you've got to control what you can control, and what we can control is how we move into Houston and what we look to do over the next two games. I think if you look at the league table, you're mad. It changes every week, so there's no need to look at it. Just go into what you do, and we'll show up for the next two games, and we'll give everything we've got.
Oh, Cameron, go ahead.
Before the game, the supporter groups, they revealed a TIFO that I believe translated to "Our Cultures Unite Us." Did you see that TIFO? Do you have any reactions to that?
Yeah, I think obviously, it's really important that we recognise, what the fans do for us, and I think the players that we're on the TIFO really appreciate those moments. I think, you know, when you step back and you look at it and you take it all in, it's really cool to see how much support everybody really has in and around this club with the fans and the team and the staff. So I think it's really awesome, and, you know, we continue to support everybody, and it's fun to celebrate all cultures, all people.
Hey guys, just want to get your thoughts on this game not going your way, the chances not producing what you'd hope they would, and where it puts you now with 2 games to go.
It was really hard after the game looking at the stat board and seeing 21 shots, 11 corners, and us not getting any goals. So I think we're definitely disappointed that we didn't put our chances away. We definitely dominated in possession, and I feel like every category, but ultimately we're at a point season, we have to win games. So I think we're discouraged, but we have to kind of have a short mindset about it, because we just have to see out the next 2 games and do what we can to control our destiny.
Yeah, I like to think of the positives, and I feel so much joy playing with the group of players out there. And yeah, it's this league is tough, and it's really disappointing when a game doesn't go your way, especially because of how hard we have fought all season together. But I love going out there and playing with each and every one of us players. We're getting way better, and I think it's just taking it game by game and not looking at the table anymore, and just growing for the future.
Go ahead.
Hi, just the first loss under Becki. Now, what has she meant to you? It's 12 games that took, you know, to find 1 loss. What has she meant to turning this around, getting you guys back into that playoff race?
I just have so much respect for her, all the time and energy and passion, and she's just put so much into our group. So I think we've all really enjoyed playing for her and fighting for her. So we've loved that we've had a 10-game streak, or however many games it's been. But yeah, so it's disappointing to give up that result. But we definitely really respect her and admire her as a leader.
I just gave her a hug right before I came in here and said I was so blessed and excited to be playing under her. She's made it super competitive, has uplifted us, but also motivated us, sets the right tone at training, and it's carried us to success for the most part. We're getting there.
Cameron, go ahead.
Hi, Paige, and hi, Dani. Before the game, the supporters revealed TIFO. I don't know if you guys saw it. What were your thoughts on it?
It gave me the chills
Yeah.
right away. I mean, the supporters is what makes us so special, and they put so much work and hours into those things. And again, that's why it's so disappointing not getting the results. But they were there fighting with us the whole way. Do you want to talk about it?
No, that was perfect.
And my other thing is, you said, Paige, you said that you don't really want to be looking at the table anymore. Rather, you want to take it game by game. What is it about looking at the table that kind of restricts the team maybe a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think people realize that we start like February 1st and we end in November. It's like the longest season ever. And it's mentally exhausting when you're sitting on the edge of a table, always grinding for a point here and there, 3 points. And when you start focusing on what you can do internally at training and game by game, the success usually comes, whether that's in the short term or long term. But yeah, it takes less pressure off mentally, and you can start focusing on success in the future.
I agree. Just focusing on ourselves. Control what we can, because at this point we have no control of anything else. So,
Dani, for you specifically, just thinking about playing against your former team, just what was it like coming into tonight's game? What was your mindset, especially as you look towards just getting all the points?
yeah, I mean, the team has changed a lot. The only player still there is Marta, looking sharp as ever. And I think Seb has done a great job with the group. They were so defensively organized, which made it really hard to break them down. But yeah, I went into it wanting to absolutely crush them with all the love and respect. But ultimately didn't go our way. But we're trying to get as many points as possible these last few games. Like I told the team before the game, is like, whether we knew it or not, the last 10 games have been the playoff push, and they've been must-wins for us, and we haven't lost. So it hurts to lose tonight, but we just have to pick our heads up and win the next two.
over here. You guys kind of just alluded to taking the steps, right? And second season, you're fighting for a player spot. Obviously, last year ended in disappointment. What are those steps? What do you feel like? Is it things and practices that are getting just internally getting better? Is it just being in situations that you're playing harder games because it's a market, a club that obviously has these ambitious goals and has these higher aspirations?
Yeah, I'd say we're refining our identity. I think last year you never knew what you were going to get from us, but this year you see, like, it's very clear where we're showing up on the field in the pockets of space, our timing, our movement. Our wingers are very direct. They want to run at the back line. Like, we're developing an identity that I think is allowing us to play free and allowing us to be competitive in the league. I think before it was very unsure, and we're just kind of like, we got by with like our grit and our fight and our heart, but you're seeing more tactical awareness and more of an identity. That's at least how I feel.
Yeah, and you take players from all different clubs, even a player from high school, and you and you start building this foundation, and it takes more than a year to build it. And we went through a coaching change, and we went through players coming in this year and in and out of international breaks, and it's going to take time. But I see so much growth. We have so many young players. We have veterans. But yeah, it's just refining the details, and the most important thing is like relationships with each other on the field and knowing where to be, especially in the final third, communication in the back, but yeah, it's coming together, and it's just sharpening up the small details.
Okay, one more, Damien.
Question for both. As you look at the table and how close things are this year, compared to years previous, is this as close as you've ever seen this league, from 1 to 12 or 1 to 10, whatever?
Did you shake your head?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. You're like, no.
No, it's
always
close every year.
It's always close, but like,
Not one
from,
point.
I
to
feel like
one
there's
point.
usually 3 teams that are like, okay, those are clearly out. Where like from 1 to 12, it's like, wow, anyone can make it. And
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, you look at records and it's like 8, 7, and like the games are so close. No game is is an easy win from top to bottom. And I think that's what makes this league so special. As you say that year after year, there's so much talent in this league. It makes every game so fun and competitive, and that's why I love playing in this league.
Yes.
But yeah, this is definitely the tightest I've ever seen it. It's always tight, but wow.
You don't agree?
Yeah, elaborate.
No, I've been like playing in the league in the past 4 years, and we've always been riding on the playoff spot.
Yeah.
Like in 5th, and so that's why it feels always tight. It's exhausting. Besides the year we won the championship, but we squeezed in that year, and then we won.
You beat us in the semis.
Yes, we squeezed in, and yeah. Anyways.
We're teammates now. It's fine. I'm not so mad about it.
No, this
Still
is
bitter.
why this league is amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it.